Alright, this is only gonna be a very quick Mo.re.Drums video. It's gonna be a time-lapse basically of me changing two of my snares better heads. So I won't touch the resos today, I just want to get some new better heads on them, and it's gonna be the UV2 coated 14-inch on the DW 14x6-inch snare, and it's gonna be the hydraulic red coated on the Tama Star Walnut snare on this side. I'll be playing this one a bit more with the Tama kit I will be setting up in another video, so check that out if you want to, and stay tuned for more covers coming up with the Tama Star Walnut kit on basically all of them in the near future. So have fun. I'm gonna speed this up a bit. I got my trusty drill bit attached to, well, my drill, haha. And I will be taking off the screws of the better head side now, and I think I'll mute the sound so you won't have to deal with the snare buzz, and I hope you enjoyed. Let's get into it. So, little intermission here right now. This is the inside of the snare drum, and I just want to take a moment to show you guys, because I think this is among the most beautiful I've ever seen a drum be. Especially the inside is not often taken care of that well. So this is actually not the Star Walnut specifically, it is the Star Reserve, and it has walnut in it, and I hope I can show you on the camera. I have the monitor set up on the side, and I hope you can see this, guys, because it frankly is quite amazing. So let me see if this makes more sense if I do it in this direction. And if you can look on the inside a bit more like this, or like this. So the Star Reserve series has always been, let's show you the badge. Yeah, that's a good idea, I guess. Here's the badge of the Tama. Let me just try to point that at the camera straight up. Here we go. That's where it says Star Reserve as well. Yeah, so the series is basically kind of a limited run of different model snare drums that are all within that series, but all different. So this, as I said, is the Star Reserve Walnut and Maple, I think it was. Was it Walnut Maple? I have to look it up, but the reinforcement rings are at least Maple, I know that much. The outer ply is a veneer, and the snare itself, the darker wood, is walnut. So I will post the specs down below in the video so you can check them out. It's a very darkish sound, it's super fat, and that is also why I chose the Super 30 snare wire by Pure Sound. As the name says, 30 strands, snare side 300 on the bottom head, and the basic, well, kind of brown braided line. And it's got inlay work on this side, going all around. It's got the tube lugs. Oh, let me just show you like this. Tube lugs, the inlay going all around the shell right here. And the throw off is basically the same as on the other Star Series snare drums, or the Star Classics, or even the, what are the others called? Starphonics, right. This is the butt end, basically the standard one. Yeah, awesome snare drum. Had it for a while now, and I've played it way too little, so let's change that. And kind of to go along with the theme of a dark sound is gonna be the Evans hydraulic red tom head. So this is gonna be quite nice. I think I will enjoy this, and it's gonna be short, it's gonna be fat. I will do a mid to low tuning, I think. Yeah, let's see where this goes. All right. I will be very subtle using this again now. I will put it on the lesser stage to not mess up any of the tension rods. So for the moment, number 1 is done, and I will get to number 2. Here we go. Okay, here we go. As you might have seen in my other recent video that I did on the DW kit, I kind of did a kit tour. This is a DW Collector Series snare drum that is from the graphics sub-series, so to speak. I will just grab this rug and kind of go through the hardware, clean it off a bit in the meantime. Yeah, got this snare along with the rest of the kit in 2005. And to this day, it is my go-to sound, so to speak. But the Tama one has given it a run for its money, to be honest, because it's very different, but very, very good. Very, very good. I mean, they couldn't be further apart sound-wise, in my opinion. If my ears are not deceiving me, they are very different snare drums, but they are both great in their own way. Very flexible. The DW has the 3P, so 3-position butt end plate, and the mag throw-off, which kind of just is very, very smooth right here. And you can see how old this is because it still says patent pending on the side right here. I'm not quite sure if you can see this. Let me just hold it up. It says patent pending. So that particular mechanism, the magnetic or mag throw-off for the now basically standard throw-off for DW, that hasn't been patented in, or hadn't been patented in 2005. So that's how old this mechanism is on this particular snare drum. And I also said that in the other video, DW goes ahead and actually lacquers the snare drums on the inside with a clear coat. You can actually see it's pretty shiny. So it actually, yeah, you can see it right there in the light. It is pretty shiny, and the surface isn't only reflecting light, it is also reflecting sound more in comparison to a drum that is unlacquered on the inside or just oiled. We'll also go around the hoop, just cleaning that off because the solid black hardware collects dust quite easily, more often, or more so than the chrome hardware does, or at least it shows. So yeah, it's quite unique, and the projection of the 14x6 inch, it is very, very loud. It is very, very high pitched, but it doesn't have unpleasant overtones, I think. So very different from the Star Reserve snare. I actually do have the Hendrix sleeved washers. I don't know if you know these. Just gonna hold them into the camera and hope it focuses. So the sleeved washers are actually to ensure there is no metal-to-metal contact between the tension rod or the tension screw and the hoop. So it goes inside of the hole in the hoop and prevents, even if you have a very, very low tuning, prevents the screws from rattling if they're quite loose, or if they loosen up because, well, you hit the rim shot a bit too hard or too often. So they actually prevent that, and I have them on all the toms as well. All right, so I will be putting a UV2 coated on the DW snare. And this looks great. I didn't have one on there yet. I had the UV2 on all the toms, and I had it on a different snare, on the Benny Grep that I currently play. Okay, let's do the time warp again. By the way, if anybody's worrying now, I'm not tuning my drums with the drill bit. I'm only putting very light pressure on it, so you can see it is still throwing waves all over the place. And I'm by no means a tuning expert. I do everything by ear. It is just a matter of doing it over and over again. So basically experience and also listening and hearing experience, because the ear can be trained. It is not something that is basically talent or whatever. I mean, there is people that can hear perfect pitch or anything like that, but I'm not one of those people. So I just have done it a lot of times, and there is people who don't go about tuning the drums the way I do or the way the next person does. There is a couple of things that are universal, I would say, just because of mechanical principles, but there is also other things that are a matter of taste or a matter of how you learned it. I mean, just what I did now and with the other drum as well, going basically circular around the drum instead of in a star pattern. I don't do this to actually put tension on the head, because it can tilt in one or the other direction if you do that too much. So if I were to go a couple of turns here and then a couple of turns there, the head would tilt. It happens very little with Evans heads. Again, the disclaimer, I did that in the other video as well. I do work for D'Addario. This is not a D'Addario video by all means. D'Addario produces Evans heads, but I used Evans for 15 plus years now, started working for D'Addario 3 years ago. So this was way before that, and I stuck to that brand because I just like the sound for my taste and my kits. Very subjective, but what I found is that the way one thing Evans does is different from many other manufacturers, is that the heads actually are very flat on the bearing edge without any tension. It's called level 360, so level meaning it is sitting level on the entire drum, 360 meaning all around 360 degrees. And because of that, because the head is not sitting on the collar, which kind of goes like this on the edge of other drum heads that are out there, instead it's like this. It can't really shift one way or the other. So even if you were to kind of put more pressure on one side and then go over to the rest of the drum, it wouldn't happen that easily. But again, I only go around the drum with very light tension to kind of get to the point where my tuning key actually gets grip. So where it's more than finger tight, I would say. And the good thing about quality drums is that the inserts, and basically even more so with DW, because they use fine threaded screws, you get a very good feeling for where the tension is at without listening to the drum in any way. So you know when the screw grips, how the pressure, how the what's the word I'm looking for right now? I can't figure it out, sorry. Yeah. So what the resistance, that's the word, sorry. The resistance on the tuning key gives you a very good impression of where the head is sitting at right now. So I still have some loose areas right here. I can feel that. And now I will be starting to go around with like a half turn in the star motion. And this is a snare drum with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lugs. Same for this one. Cheaper snare drums often only have 8. So the 10 lug is definitely a good thing, because you can go into very many details regarding the tension and the sound, and it's very precise. And once I've kind of done the half turn thing, I just look at if there's any more dents in the head near the bearing edge. There aren't any. And so there is already a tone. It's still too low. And I would then kind of get rid of the throw off because, well, usually it rattles, but it's now sitting on carpet, so it doesn't rattle. But I will be doing the kind of comparing the pitches of two tension rods and then either going up for the one or down for the other. If you go down, you have to go back up again to kind of re-grip the screw so it doesn't get loose by itself. So that's just the process I use, and this is just a rough version of what it's going to be like in the end, because I will have it sit overnight. It's not because it has to really settle anymore. That used to be the case in times where the head will actually pull out from the crimping when it was done with two metal hoops kind of holding the head in place. Now with the way it's glued in place, the glue doesn't move because the way the flesh hoop is bent, it kind of holds the head in place and holds the glue in place. So that is not necessary. I don't have to do the whole pressure thing that used to be standard back in the day. That's all unnecessary in my experience, and yeah, that's why I don't do it. And I never had issues with a head actually detuning after I put it on overnight. But I will just let it sit until I actually set up the other kit sometime soon, and then kind of go into detail for the tuning, also in relation to the toms and the bass drums, so the whole kit as one. So real quick. All right, two new beta heads on two snare drums, and I will be using this one quite a lot in the future. For the next couple of videos, I will be kind of switching with this one. Let's see how it fits with the kit. And that's it for this short video, and I hope you had some fun watching it, had some insights into the gear I use, why I use it. And if you did have fun, just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit all, and I'll be seeing you and hearing you in the next one. Take care, cheers.